Hello, Serendipitous here with another video for the board game shelf. Um, before I move on to the top shelf of the of our Calyx shelves, I wanted to kind of um, go over a few games that are more recent acquisitions and stuff, so just so that I make sure I don't neglect them or forget them in the future. Um, so. Uh, a few weeks ago from the recording of this video, my wife and I decided to go to drive to a friend's house. This friend was a little ways away, probably a couple hours drive. We were all this friend was a huge fan of board games, as are we, of course, and we decided that we wanted to have a whole day of just playing board games, and that's it. Just a whole day of board games. So we drove up there. This friend provided snacks and also provided food. He was very grateful for my wife and I making the trip up there. And yeah, we brought some of our board games. He had all of his board games at home, of course. Towards in the beginning of the day, he showed us a really cool board game store near his house, and my wife and I ended up purchasing a few board games. Obviously, those will I plan on featuring all of those board games on this channel, but this is one of them. This is kind of a bit of a last minute thing because I like escape room games essentially, or escape rooms in a box, and this is a brand or a type that I had not tried. I believe I've done Monochrome Inc. by this same company, but I don't think it was an exit. I think it was like an Adventure Incorporated game or something. It wasn't an Exit the Game. My wife is a fan of Murder on the Orient Express, and so here we have Dead Man on the Orient Express, and yeah, also my friend at that board game store got a different Exit the Game. It was like a haunted cabin kind of thing. We decided when we wanted to do an escape room in a box thing, we decided to do this one. This is the one that my wife and I bought. But yeah, this was. Basically, so there are going to be some. So if you care, there are going to be probably some spoilers, probably more minor than anything because you won't really have any context for it. But this is probably the most self-destructive escape room game that I've ever seen. What I mean by that is that you're basically destroying the elements themselves. Like we actually had to draw on this decoding wheel, essentially. There are various pieces that we had to we tore the book apart. There were various things we had to we drew on and things like that. The game asked you to do this. They gave you a setup and a scenario, and you're basically trying to. Well, in this case, we were going inside the rooms of the cabins of various train passengers, right, and kind of looking around and collecting cards as we went along. And there are hint cards, there are clue cards, there are evidence cards, there are answer cards. We had to check our answers and things like that. We started a timer. There is a scoring system to it as well. And let me look at the score that we had here. I believe it. Let's see. So the scoring system is basically like even if you did not solve the mystery, you still earn stars. The most amount of stars you can earn is you can win essentially is 10 stars, with the lowest being 1 star, right? And the number of stars your score at the end is dependent on how long it took for your group to solve the mystery and how many help cards or how many hints you had to use. So I believe we had to use 2 help cards, and we finished in just over an hour, about an hour and 8 minutes or something. And we were so sure that we found the right answer, but we were wrong. And the game told us that basically, if you are wrong on this question, you have to you failed essentially. Well, it didn't exactly say that, but you have to draw this other card instead of this one. And so we were not successful, and the game did explain to us why we were wrong, essentially. And yeah, so we got a total of 7 stars, which is honestly not too bad. Even though we did not succeed in solving the murder case correctly, we would have gotten 2 extra stars for that. But still, only we went through it in less than less than 90 minutes. So there's that. Uh, I will say I expected to. So basically, there were certain like small details that we didn't really pick up on that we probably should have, but it didn't seem that important, at least to us at the time. Also, it was very late. It was very late in the evening. It was like the last board game that we played in that day. We were all very tired. I think that contributed to it as well. We were just so tired that we were like we wanted to just like solve all the puzzles and like get to the answer, and we were probably a bit too hasty there. But we had fun, and that's really what matters, right? Even if we were not successful. I will say that so with the other escape room games that my wife and I have, the Unlock one and the Adventure Incorporated ones, those are technically replayable. You might need to like wait a while until you like forget the answers and stuff before you play it again. But those are technically replayable. But this one is not replayable, and I didn't know that. I did not realize how like self-destructive it was. How you had to like you had to cut things up, fold and draw and rip and do all these things to sort of like decode various things and like compare pieces and things like that. It was a cool experience, honestly, and that's really what you're purchasing here. I mean, this was like $15 or whatever for I mean, imagine spending 10 or maybe it's more like $10. Imagine spending like $10 or $15 on like an escape room, like. Escape rooms in general are pretty pricey. You usually spend $10 to $20 per person to get into an escape room, as far as I remember, anyway. Maybe more than that. But this is just $15 for a group to play once, and that's honestly quite cheap. So in terms of escape rooms go, this is honestly pretty cheap. And just like most escape rooms, you can't really do an escape room again unless you come back forgetting all the answers. But yeah, I had fun with this. This was cool. There were some neat things going on with this one, and it was just a fun little experience. I don't regret purchasing this, even though we can't really play this again, and we failed. But it's the memory, right? So, but yeah, there you go. I think in the future, the next time I want to do like an escape room in a box kind of thing, I think I will prefer the Unlock and Adventure Incorporated or something similar to that, because I like having repeatable escape rooms so that even if I don't play it again, I can have other people play it again. So anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, all the best.